Hey team, wanted to make a video because I just finished another audiobook. It was called Accomplice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Marer, and I don't. It was a very interesting book because I think it was definitely geared towards a younger audience. I think it was high school age esque, young, just coming into yourself, just coming into your relationships, and I didn't know that going in, but it was kind of a stream of consciousness, and it was unique because just the way that they were very flippant about violence and killing and taking heads off and things like that. It was very flippant and very, oh, this is very everyday. This is something that just happens all the time. And but they were actually good people. They were the ones who were fighting like baddies or people who were abusing people. So it was unique because they were, there was one particular individual who was the villain, but they were the villains. They were on that side. They were counter to the king, but um, who was there in different elements, different parts of the story. And then kind of disappeared, and and then came back, and it seems like it was interesting how many like shout outs to different storylines, different story arcs, and it had, because I just didn't know if it was a part of a series. It didn't say it on my audiobook thing. Sometimes it'll say book 1 in a series, book 2 in a series, and I didn't really see any like warnings of that, but it was just like shout outs to a bunch of different story arcs and different like love stories and things like that. And it was like, is there another book that I just missed, or but it's true though, because at first I was like, wow, it just seems so random, like they're just completely making this stuff up, and it's not like relevant to the story per se, but it's like, it kind of got me thinking about, I didn't like it. I didn't like it because it was there were so many loose ends and so much just like randomly shoved into this book, like with the first however long, and then I kind of realized, but that's kind of what life is. You're never gonna come into someone's life, come into someone's story, and not have a whole bunch of story arcs that came before, that came after, that there's so much there's so much to think about, and it's not gonna be a nice clean story if you're looking at a real life. There's so much to do, and like there's so many elements to it. So that was something else I'd say for sure. But the some things I felt like you could tell that it was definitely coming of age, and very romancy, very, it reminded me of fan fiction almost, where like, and then they snogged, and then there was that sexual tension, and then there was more sexual tension, and but they were virginal, and they were kind of saving themselves, and and so it was, and they were trying to be clever, and it was, they were trying for that banter vibe, and so it was cute. It made me think, about of what would you want if it were like in like a real life scenario. You'd like to have those flirty moments with your husband, with your boyfriend, for for all the time, like every chapter or so I started thinking about it like in terms of that, and it was like, okay, yeah, because it was, then this couple fell in love, this couple fell in love, and they did have a gay couple, two gay couples. So it was, they're very open opportunity. They're very much um, liberal in their storytelling. It was very, very liberal. So it was, it was definitely unique. It was I had wanted more of the plot, but it was definitely still easy listening, and then so it was there were some exteuses like, and it was just ridiculous because they're like, we have been kidnapped for this by this man who we were going to get this magic wand, and he's an evil villain, and so they killed him right away, and then just kidding, he's still alive, and then and then they were still kidnapped and forced to a dinner party where they just happened to have these gorgeous, stunning costumes that fit all of the characters perfectly for this last minute dinner party. More sexual tension. and then um the main character was kind of being quite the tease, and with this, they kind of said off the bat, that guy is my true love, and that girl is my true love, and how many people already know that, and but they haven't done anything about it yet. They so then it was just like, then they kissed, and then it was kind of a progression there, and then we find out there's a big reveal at the end that I totally called, of course, but I had wanted to know more about one of the other characters, and because that was like one of the primary plot elements. It started with the introduction of this character. We didn't know much about him. We found out some spoilers in the middle, and then we had to kind of potentially save his life. And I do have a theory of a relationship that I would ship with him and a sorceress to be a sorceress in training. But all of a sudden, he's no longer that integral of a character to the plot. All of a sudden, the main character is going to be the main character forever. And I liked that there were, like, we went to different worlds with different characters, so we got to see like their families, and but the main character was still the main character, and just kidding, he's gonna be the main character for all of it. And so it was like it seemed a little narcissistic in certain areas where like they were talking about these other characters, and then but us and our love and our high school lust. So it's like, yes, okay. But we know, those arms, oh, his butt, oh, her boobs, okay, we get it. Yes. So, but it felt immature, and but it was stream of consciousness. It was a romp. It was easy reading, and it was fluffy, kind of weird because it's like, you kill that guy, murder that guy, he's gonna murder me. And I hate that, because it's like, please don't be so flippant with talking about murder and killing and like this violence. Don't just throw it out there like it's like, don't do that like it's so commonplace, and because it's so dramatic, it's so over dramatized, and I don't much care for that. And so there were some elements that I was just like, no, and I'm too old for it, but for the story, it's bringing elements in of these things that people appreciate in their life and want more of in their life, which are those fancy dinner parties where you just happen to have the most gorgeous dress that just makes the love of your life quiver with your perfection, these things, and he of course doesn't look that bad either, and it's trying for the clever witticisms and things, and so it's what people want. And so it was light reading. There was a prince, there was a king, there were sorcerers and sorceresses, and trying to break a curse. Then a curse did get broken, but not the one we were going for. And then, so very dramatic, but very fast paced. There were gardens, there were magical plants with powers to take memories, to take powers, and people that had different specializations. Of they were the healing magicians. These were there was the death magician. Like things like that. So it was overall, it was, it was it was a light read. Um, so, and it was something that, like, it inspired me to want to try and write, because I've got this problem where I can't sit and just go and just, kind of like a writer's block. And it felt like that's exactly what this was, because it didn't feel like there was an exceptional amount of planning. It didn't feel like there was an exceptional amount of depth to, like, the characters, depth, or definitely their explanations of who they were. Like, you got basic information and then it was just inferred or implied, but they're really badass. They were great characters and you love them or whatever. And so it was just maybe this leaves room for prequels if it wasn't a part of a series, or I didn't do the research. I should have done it before I started the video here, but or sequels, because there's so much that they gave themselves to work with that it's just like, okay, well, there you go. So it kind of inspired me to want to write again, to try writing in a different style instead of trying to make it so put together in way of a plot. I made a mental note: work on my witty banter. I've had banter. I've done banter. so, yeah, it was a fluff piece, definitely a fluff piece for a younger people, a younger audience, with just blossoming relationships. I am older, and so most of my friends do have children and are established, have homes and professions, and so this, the blossoming love and the such things were a nice way to remember what it felt like to be younger, to be in high school. And it actually reminded me of my sister and her friends in high school. So I was like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. So yeah, that's all for now, and I will tell you about my next read. Bye.